rough go this week. He has IVDD, as we've just discovered. He's on quite a bit of pain meds, so he's very comfy now. He's pretty doped out. He ate his first meal this morning, and he's been drinking water again, so yeah, luckily we caught it early. I am drinking the last bit of a lot of my Christmas creamers. I bought like a couple different fun ones over the Christmas holidays because we were having guests and such. Today I'm finishing off Peppermint Mocha Silk Oat Creamer. Good. You know what? I would put this an 8 out of 10 over the Christmas holidays, and then like post Christmas holiday, it just doesn't hit as hard because it's obviously not Christmas time anymore, but it's still really good. Today, I'm going to start with our 52. I'm going to start with a diaper change actually. Sorry, Butto. And we're back again. Let's do a mantra of the week. I'm going to just always do this at the top of the talk because then I'll never forget. The next card in the deck is Deconstructing Doubt. Only my beliefs are in my way. We have control over what we choose our beliefs to be. At least more control than we think, you know? I think when you walk around less conscious, like not really curious about the world, then yes, our beliefs feel a little bit more cemented into place. And that's because having an open mind requires having curiosity, and having curiosity requires having an open mind. So it's like, it makes me think of the book. It may not have even been the first one. There's the 4 agreements, but then there's the 5th agreement. And the 5th agreement, to the best of my memory, which is not at its sharpest these days, and I wonder why. The 5th agreement is be skeptical, but learn to listen, which to me, I feel like really just means be curious. And so funny, that actually also really perfectly mirrors the book I'm reading, Cynicism and Magic, like similar threads of the idea of being cynical, the idea of being skeptical comes from the idea of not being skeptical or cynical about or intellectually. It's more so learning how to be cynical or learning how to be skeptical experientially, to be curious about your personal experience. 2 things can be true. Something can be true and it not be true in your own personal experience because you haven't had to experience that truth yet. It doesn't make it untrue. This is so, I'm definitely entering word salad territory. Let's loop it back though. The idea that only our beliefs are in our way, and to deconstruct doubt and to think about our beliefs being our choices. It really comes down to understanding or becoming curious about what causes the beliefs that we have. If you become doubtful of yourself or of the world, doubt comes from a belief, and beliefs are normally composed of past experiences or passed down beliefs from usually our caretakers, or specifically in our formative years. In the first 7 years of our life, we learn basically the laws of human nature. And in those first 7 years, the people that are responsible for raising us and basically shepherding us into life as we know it, whether they know it or not, or whether they consciously took on this responsibility or not at birth, whoever you were in the care of from ages 0 to 7 probably formed a lot of your core beliefs. But even core beliefs can be changed, especially if your core beliefs cause doubt or cause disruption in your path to personal purpose. I think any belief can be changed. Let's say I think any doubt can be challenged by shifting our beliefs. And the only way that we can shift our beliefs is becoming curious about where that belief came from, where that agreement was, whether we had an experience or someone told us something and we said, okay, yes, I agree with that truth. And that officially becomes a belief that you live by. And so if your beliefs are creating doubts that are getting in your way, you have to give your brain basically the task to search for new truths, to search for new experiences that reaffirm my belief that I am worthy. And then the more you do that, the more you deconstruct doubt. And the more you deconstruct doubt, you open yourself up to a lot of, I think, like, you could put it in many different ways, blessings. You could put it as serendipity even. Just being open to a different flow of energy, a different flow of consciousness that I think can really turn you into, think of it like a magnet, or like the butterfly garden concept from January's Brew, where maybe I can pull it up on the screen before, but it was like, if you create a beautiful life, then butterflies will come. And even if they don't come, then you're still going to have a beautiful life. So if you deconstruct your doubt, butterflies are going to come. And if butterflies don't come, this is part of like the gardening aspect of your life, is deconstructing doubt. And even if the butterflies don't come, at least you'll be a less doubtful person. At least you'll be a more confident person. At least you'll have more consciously chosen beliefs. I'm really challenging myself here not to like flip this fully into a positive nature, but like you'll just have more consciously chosen beliefs that are in more alignment. Okay. I'm not trying to paint this all with like a pretty picture. I will read what Matt Kahn has for this card, Deconstructing Doubt. As you deconstruct doubt, you are no longer lost in the concerns and curiosities of what if, but are more rooted in the truth of what is. When doubt is deconstructed, hardship is no longer a sign of misfortune. It's an opportunity to step outside of your comfort zone and meet the higher aspects of soul that exists just beyond the boundary of the self. This mantra is ideal for aligning with truth, being more self-actualized, and transforming inferiority. Oh, I love this, because another quote that has been really popping up a lot lately, and I heard it in a commercial, and then I saw it in a show, and then someone that I follow on Instagram posted the quote, and I was like, wow, that's a lot. That's seeing that quote a lot in a short amount of time, and my brain took notice. And it's the idea that instead of feeling like hardship is a sign of misfortune, it's actually a sign of opportunity to elevate. So the quote that I keep seeing is, where there is pressure, there is opportunity. So if you are under a lot of pressure, then it also means you are in a state of great opportunity. I think there's an interesting year ahead. I think that 2025 isn't necessarily going to be a year of new beginnings. And if anybody is into, the more esoteric world and symbolisms that can exist there, and it's the idea that like 2, 2, and 5, 2025, if you add those numbers together, it creates 9. 9 is tying of loose ends. 9 is also a feminine number. It's also considered like the year of the snake. It does all feel symbolic in the sense where it feels like this year is going to be kind of like the finishing of a pattern, the ending of a cycle, and the transitional point to what will be. And it's interesting to be in present time in that in between, because coming back to recent discussions on quantum physics, or coming back to the idea that, we live and die in every moment. And if you can find that space in the in-between, and in between birth and death, in between every second, if you can feel that microscopic, like even smaller, just that little break, that space in between, I think there's a lot of power there, and we are currently in one on a grander scale. I think this year, it's not like a filler year. I think it's going to be a fundamental year, but it's, I think, a year of tying up old past selves and laying them to rest with respect, like laying our old selves to rest with the wisdom we've gained, and moving or ushering forward next year, perhaps when it's year 10, maybe a lot of the fates of the world might feel a little sealed, or we'll see them come into full play. This is making me think of this post that I shared. Alchemy.inc. It says, in the 1950s, cultural researchers found that Inuit slept up to 14 hours a day in the winter season. There's a region in the south of France, near the Alps, where the whole villages used to sleep through the 7 months of winter. Can you imagine the comfort that would come with that? Like, imagine even, screw 7 months, even just 7 days of like you and your family not going far from the bed. It reminds me a lot of, which in a sacred cycle way, postpartum very much is like a winter. When you're freshly postpartum and you're not really leaving your bed very much, there is a weird comfort from that. And so it reminds me that winter is like our own rest and recovery phase. And the idea of like just staying so close to your bed and not leaving it for a little while. And in 1900, it was recorded that peasants from Pskov, did I say that right? Possibly not, in northwest Russia, would fall into deep winter slumber called Lotska for half the year. While Scandinavians embrace the Nordic culture of coziness, hygge, where lighting candles and spending long nights snuggled under blankets is the norm. Read this book in the book club back in 2022, January 2022, called Hygge. Oh, so good. The Little Book of Hygge. If you are feeling pulled towards slowing down, embrace the season we're in and align yourself with the natural rhythms of the earth. Winter is a time for deep rest and nourishment. Invite in the magic of the solstice. Slip into a dreamy state and tuck yourself in. Embrace the art of slow for winter hibernation, deep sleep, fire gazing. Yes. Reading, like even just staring at a candle. Reading, warming foods, body oiling, socks, wool sweaters, beeswax candles, herbal infusions. Rest well. I loved this post so much. It just felt like a calming, soothing balm to the urge or the need to have everything clearly defined going into a new year. It's felt really good to not have to go into the year already feeling refreshed and redefined, but instead taking the new year through the rest of winter to be refreshed and redefined. And then seeing where things are come spring. The best thing that I truly think that I can do, but also we can all do, especially if you're in the Northern Hemisphere currently experiencing winter, is to rest well, is to re-nourish yourself so that when you're filled back up, we'll come out on the other side of winter in a stronger state of experience of life. That's the way I want to put it. This does fit with the winter vibe that we're just talking about, but this is Emma L. Robles or Le Robles. I'm not sure if I'm saying that wrong. Emma L. Robles, but she did this tincture. I really want to try it, where you keep all of your orange peels and you can actually make this really nice tincture for, basically it's like turning your food waste into a potent herbal medicine. Antioxidants, vitamin C, to boost digestion and absorption of nutrients. And coming back kind of full circle to the beginning of our chat where cynicism and skepticism comes into play, this is interesting to me because I would love to make it and then I would love to try it and experience it for myself and see if it works. So anyway, if you do eat a lot of oranges right now, here's a way that you can use your orange peels. And then last but not least, I found this one post this morning, which I thought was really cool. So I'll end it here. It says, it's from Trippy Painting. I have fallen into a pattern and mistaken it for my identity. I will now step out of it. I feel like we talked about that today. Oh no, I was dividing every moment into good and bad instead of embracing the everythingness of everything. Yes. You're afraid to take the next step, but wouldn't it be scarier to be standing in the exact same place a year later? Thoughts for the collective. Lol, you were supposed to be yourself and you were this totally other person. I should have used my body to do cool stuff instead of just overthinking everything. This picture says a lot. There's so much we can do with our bodies, but we get stuck in our heads. You must break the pattern today or the loop will repeat tomorrow. And let me just say, I do believe in subtle shifts like James Clear, Atomic Habits, 1% trajectory. Just break the pattern by 1%. Pull back by 1%. And then you will start to feel it come easier. You know, breaking patterns doesn't happen just momentary, so momentary. It's not like, oh, I break it today and now I'll never be in that loop again. I think it's breaking it over and over and over again that actually stops it from repeating. The biggest mistake I ever made was waiting for the outside world to make me feel good instead of feeling good, thus creating outside. And then outside of it all, I know existence is perfect, but my human doesn't seem to get it. I've been talking a long time today, so I'm going to close out our brew here, but thank you for hanging out. My coffee is long gone, or at least very cold. No, it's gone. Otherwise, I would cheers you, but instead I'm cheersing you a sunbeam, solar beam. And I will chat with all of you guys in the next one. Bye, everyone.